Hari Om and welcome to all the divine Atmajyotis. We'll continue on the contemplation of the questions based on the Purna Yoga talks by Sri Prabhuji on the first chapter, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So far, we have completed till the first four questions. Who is Krishna? Who is Arjuna? Who is Sadguru? What is the key message of Bhagavad Gita? These are the questions that we have contemplated. So today, we will begin with pancha maha yajnas. What are pancha maha yajnas? So we'll call out the names as I see it here. So shall we begin from Padma Amma?
Sir. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. What are Panchamaha Yajna? Panchamaha ಯಜ್ಞಗಳು ನಾವು ಈಗ ಏನು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಮನುಷ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಇದೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದಂತಹ ಡ್ಯೂಟೀಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಯಜ್ಞವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅವು ಯಾವುವು? 5 ಯಜ್ಞಗಳು ಯಾವುವು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಮೊದಲನೆಯದಾಗಿ ದೇವಯಜ್ಞ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಋಷಿ ಯಜ್ಞ, ಪಿತೃಯಜ್ಞ, ಭೂತಯಜ್ಞ ಮತ್ತು ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಯಜ್ಞ. ಹೀಗೆ 5 ಯಜ್ಞಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ. ಮೊದಲನೆಯದಾಗಿ ದೇವಯಜ್ಞವನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಾವು ದೇವರ ಪೂಜೆ, ಸಂಕೀರ್ತನೆ ಹೀಗೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಮನಸ್ಸನ್ನ ದೇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಂದ್ರೀಕರಿಸುವುದಕ್ಕೆ. ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಮನುಷ್ಯರು ಈಗ ನಾವೇನ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾನ್ ಬೇರೆ, ಪ್ರಪಂಚ ಬೇರೆ, ದೇವರು ಬೇರೆ ಅನ್ನುವ ಒಂದು ಹಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸನ್ನ ದೇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಂದ್ರೀಕರಿಸುವುದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಆ ಒಂದು ದೇವಯಜ್ಞವನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಈ ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಇವತ್ತು ವೈಕುಂಠ ಏಕಾದಶಿ, ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಹೋಗಿ ಬಂದೆ ನಾನು ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನಕ್ಕೆ. ಹೋಗಿ ಬರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಅದೇ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಸಂಭಾಷಣೆ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ದೇವರ ಕಡೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಲವು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಆ ದೇವರನ್ನ ಪೂಜೆ, ಹವನ, ಸಂಕೀರ್ತನೆ, ಭಜನೆ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಮನೆಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಸಹ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಬೇಡದೇ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಚಿಂತನೆಗಳಲ್ಲೇ ಒಳಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನ ತಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸನ್ಮಾರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂರಿಸುವುದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ದೇವಯಜ್ಞ ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದದ್ದು. ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಸನ್ಮಾರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ ನಡಿಬೇಕು, ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಗೆ ದೇವಯಜ್ಞ ಅತಿ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದದ್ದು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಋಷಿ ಯಜ್ಞ, ಮನುಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಇದೆ. ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ಜ್ಞಾನದಿಂದ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಕಂಡು ಹಿಡಿದಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಈ ಲೌಕಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳು ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕಂಡು ಹಿಡಿದು ಅದನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಪಂಚಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ತಿಳಿಸಿ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲ ಸುಖಕರವಾದಂತಹ ಜೀವನವನ್ನ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾರಣ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡದೇ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ಆ ಒಂದು ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಇಂದ ಬಂದಿರುವಂತಹ ಪರಿಕರಗಳಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನವನ್ನ ಸುಲಭಗೊಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೀವಿ. ಇಂತಹ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಈಗ ಆಧುನಿಕ ಜಗತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಹರಡಿದಾರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಋಷಿಗಳು ನಮ್ಮ ಆತ್ಮವನ್ನ, ಅದು ಏನು, ನನ್ನ ಮೂಲ ಏನು ಅನ್ನುವುದನ್ನ ಅವರು ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ತಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನವನ್ನೇ ಮುಡುಪಾಗಿಟ್ಟು ಅವರು ಯಾವ ವೈಭೋಗದ ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡದೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಆತ್ಮನನ್ನ ಕಂಡುಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದು, ತಾವು ಕಂಡುಕೊಂಡು ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೇರೆಯವರಿಗೂ ಸಹ ಹೇಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಕಂಡುಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದು ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ ಬೇಕಾದಷ್ಟು ಗ್ರಂಥಗಳನ್ನು ರಚಿಸಿಟ್ಟು ಮತ್ತೆ ಪರಂಪರೆಯನ್ನು ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ನಾವು ಸಹ ಈಗ ಗುರುಜಿಗಳ ಒಂದು ಗೈಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅವರು ನೆನ್ನೆ ತಾನೇ ಸಂಕಲ್ಪ ಮಾಡಿದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲಾನು ಋಷಿ ಯಜ್ಞವೇ. ನಮ್ಮ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಕೇಂದ್ರೀಕರಿಸಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ರಚಾರ ಮಾಡುವುದು ಇದು ಋಷಿ ಯಜ್ಞ. ಇವು ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಹಿಂದೆ ವೇದ, ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತು, ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆಗಳು ಇಂಥದ್ರಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಾನು ಬರ್ದು ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಜನಸಾಮಾನ್ಯರಿಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸುವಂತಹ ಕೆಲಸವೂ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬುಕ್ ತೆಗೆದು ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಅಥವಾ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹುಡುಕಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಹೀಗೆ ಇವಾಗ ಪ್ರಭುಜಿಯವರು ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇಂದಾನೆ ಇವಾಗ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದು ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಇದು ಒಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು. ಇದು ಇಂಥದ್ದೇ ಇದು ಜ್ಞಾನ ಯಜ್ಞ, ಇದು ಋಷಿ ಯಜ್ಞ. ಹಾಗೆ ಪಿತೃಯಜ್ಞ. ಯಜ್ಞ ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಿರೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮ, ನಮ್ಮ ಆನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಆ ಒಂದು ಇದರಿಂದಾನೆ ಅವರ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರಗಳು ಏನು ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಿರೋದು ಕೊಡುಗೆಗಳೇ. ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬರೀ ನಾನಲ್ಲ, ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತಹದ್ದೇ. ಈ ದೇಹವೂ ಸಹ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದ್ದೇ. ನಾನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಯಾವುದು ಇಲ್ಲವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಪಿತೃಗಳಿಗೆ ಏನು ನನಗೆ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಿದಾರೋ ಅದರಿಂದಲೇ ನಾನು ನಡೆಸೋದು. ಅವರದ್ದು ಬರೀ ಆಸ್ತಿ ಪಾಸ್ತಿಗಳಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅವರು ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರಗಳು ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಅವರಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾನು ಕೃತಜ್ಞತೆಯನ್ನ ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಅವರು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ಗುರು ಹಿರಿಯರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಂಥವ್ರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕೃತಜ್ಞರಾಗಿ ಇರಬಹುದು. ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ. ನಾವು ಹಾಗೆ ಉದ್ಭವ ಮೂರ್ತಿಗಳು ಅಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಭೂತಯಜ್ಞ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಕಲ ಜೀವಿಗಳನ್ನ ಸಂರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. ನನಗೆ ಬದುಕೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಹಕ್ಕು ಇದೆಯೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಇತರ ಜೀವಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಬದುಕೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವುಗಳು ನಾನು ಇರಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವು ಇರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವ ದೃಷ್ಟಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ನನ್ನಲ್ಲೂ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನೇ ಇರೋದು, ಅವುಗಳ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಜೀವಿಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಎಲ್ಲೆಡೆಯೂ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನೇ ಇರುವುದು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಅವುಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ನಾವು ಒಡನಾಟವನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಅವುಗಳಿಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆದಾಗ ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಲಾದಷ್ಟು ಅವುಗಳ ಸೇವೆನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಇದು ಹೀಗೆ ಭೂತಯಜ್ಞವನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಯಜ್ಞ, ನರನ ಸೇವೆಯೇ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಸೇವೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುವಂತಹದ್ದು. ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಎಷ್ಟು ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನ ಬಯಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟಗಳು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಊಟ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಟ್ಟೆಗೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಕೊರತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸಮೃದ್ಧಿ ಇದೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಮೊದಲು ನಾವು ಚಿಕ್ಕಂದಿನಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನ ನಾವಾದ್ರೆ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಊಟಕ್ಕೂ ಸಹ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಯ್ತು. ಅಂಥವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲಾನು ನಾನು ತುಂಬಾ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಮೊರಗಟ್ಲೆನೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು. ಈಗ ಯಾರು ಕೊಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಆ ಥರ ಕೊಡಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಆ ಸಹಾಯ ಇವಾಗ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಯಾರು ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ. ಇವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟ್ಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಆ ಸಹಾಯ ಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತೆ ನರಳ್ತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸು. ಇವಾಗ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಂತೂ ಬರೀ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಏಜ್ನವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮಕ್ಕಳೆಲ್ಲ ಅಮೇರಿಕಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊರಟೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ಸ್ಗಂತೂ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ. ಅಂಥವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನೇನು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಬೇಕೋ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಯಜ್ಞ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಹೀಗೆ ಈಗ್ಲೂ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅನಾಥಾಶ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥವ್ರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಗೂನು ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಏಜ್ ಹೋಮ್ಸ್ ಇವೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಸಹಾಯಗಳು ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಅದು ಮನುಷ್ಯ, ನನ್ನಲ್ಲೂ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನೇ ಇರೋದು, ಅವರಲ್ಲೂ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನೇ ಇರೋದು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ನಾನ್ ಸೇವೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದು ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಯಜ್ಞ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಗುರುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ಅತಿಥಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರಲ್ಲೂ ದೇವರನ್ನು ಕಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಗುರುಗಳು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸ್ವರೂಪಿಗಳು ಅಂತ ತಿಳಿದು ಅವರ ಒಂದು ವಚನ ಏನೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಪಾಲಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಆ ಮೂಲಕವಾಗಿ ಅದು ಯಜ್ಞವಾಗಿ ಮುಂದುವರಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಯಜ್ಞ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಅಮ್ಮ. Smitaji, would you like to share your view?
Vijayji, I have not seen the video.
Okay.
But he has given ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅವರು ರೂಪಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ವಿಡಿಯೋನೇ ನೋಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಆಯಿತು ನನಗೆ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ, ನಿಜ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ. ಬಟ್ ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ,
have you felt about or have you thought about what is yajna?
I was about to ask that question. What does the word yajna itself mean? ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ಕೇಳೋಣ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ.
Okay, all right. So then let us go deeper into that aspect itself. Let's listen from Shubhaji and then we'll expound on that. Yeah.
As Smitaji pointed out, Padmaji has put it very nicely in a detailed manner. I would just like to give a gist of what each pancha maha yajnas are. The pancha maha yajnas are Deva yajna, Pitru yajna, Bhuta yajna, Manushya yajna, and Rishi yajna. Deva yajna is nothing but when we breathe, when we talk, when we walk, and all other things which we do unconsciously, we may be hurting somebody. So, which may cause the death of the beings like insects, ants, everything. So, in order to get out of those sins, we just pray to all the various deities, and each deity, our body itself has all the deities inside us. Each organ, each limb has a presiding deity. So to those deities we show gratitude, and that is and pray to those deities. That is Deva Yajna. And then Pitru Yajna. Pitru Yajna is nothing but we came from our ancestors, and we are nothing without them. So we show our gratitude to all our ancestors. That is Pitru Yajna. Like doing every the Shraddha, all that, and our ancestors and also our elders who are alive, we do the seva to them. Those are all our Pitru Yajna. Then Bhuta Yajna. Bhuta Yajna is nothing but to all the animals, trees, every living organism. We show our gratitude and we help them in a way what we can do from our side. That is Bhuta Yajna. Then Manushya Yajna. Manushya Yajna, as we all know, it is what we do every day in our lives. Just like as a mother, as a daughter-in-law, as a wife, what role we can play, what we can do. It can be any role. So what we do as GV in this universe, that is what is Manushya Yajna. And Rishi Yajna, which is ultimate, what we do, what Vijayji, Prabhuji, they are all doing, that is Rishi Yajna. And all the rishis, they have given us the Upanishads, Gita, everything for us to lead our life in a peaceful manner and to know our self, which is what the ultimate knowledge we have to achieve in life. So to all those rishis and to all our teachers, we show our gratitude. That is the Rishi. This is something in short, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shubhaji.
Thank you, sir.
Let's first understand what is yajna. See, the word yajna, what image comes to our mind? There is a fire pot and certain things are being offered into the fire. And usually what are being offered? So some food items, cloth materials. And why the yajna is being performed? There are different purposes. So maybe there is for example, Naga Sarpa Hatya Dosha Nivarana. So like that, there is a certain purpose. What does this particular word that I said just now means? So we may have hurt some animal, such as a snake, and that would have caused a lot of impressions in us. So to remove that, there is a puja vidhana. And during that puja vidhana, usually there is some kind of a yajna kunda into which, depending upon who's organizing the puja, they would have told you to bring certain materials. And there's a certain order in which you offer those materials with certain chanting. So this is a usual meaning that comes to our mind, and this is a usual image that comes to our mind when we think about yajna, or when we talk about yajna. What is yajna is a very central concept, is a very central truth of life. So when you look at life, so let's start, for example, from the very source of the energy on this earth called sun. Now, the very source of the energy on this earth, sun, the scientists say, if it doesn't shine for about 7 minutes, entire life on the earth, as we know, will not be there. Just in 7 minutes. Now, for a moment, think about the magnitude of that. Whatever you and I cherish so much, it is all because of that sun and his energy. Now, how many times we have looked at that sun and said, it is because of you that, my life is there. Whether I understand it or not, what I call as this life is only because of sun. And every day it shines. Sun God, he shines without necessarily waiting for you and me to offer our gratitude, whether we have said thanks. He shines equally on every one of us. So in a way, when he is offering the light, he is actually burning himself up. You all know that stars, they kind of are burning away into death. So he's burning himself, and in that burning process, he's offering the light and energy, and that is what is sustaining this entire earth. So it is a samarpana, it's an arpana by sun god. And he is not at all expecting our thank you or our gratitude. He is simply doing it. He is offering. Like that, when you look at any of the pancha mahabhutas, the 5 elements, so air, water, like that, if you look at any of this, earth, Mother Earth, see what all we do on Mother Earth. We stand on her, we stomp on her, we shit on her, we spit on her. But whatever we do, like a wonderful mother, she's always held us. So without her being there, how could we even imagine whatever you and I call as your and my life? So there is a samarpana, there is an arpana. And she's not expecting anything back from us. There is an arpana. So when you look at the life, what we call as, in science, we simply study it as a ecological cycle, or, what we read as how the water cycle is, how the air cycle is. We simply talk about it like as if, these are inanimate things. So for example, if I ask you, what are you breathing today? You would all know it is air. So, and if I ask you what is the apparatus through which you are breathing, depending upon, your science knowledge, you may say, yeah, it is lungs. And if I ask you, where is your lungs? All of us might point at this place and say, hey, here there are 2 lungs. There's a right lung and a left lung. We may say like that. But if I ask you, is this lung any useful without the air that is coming? And what is the source of that air that is coming? Is the tree. Without the tree, can this lung even operate? What will you breathe? We all know during the COVID, what happened? People had crore of rupees, but were struggling for simple air, something called as an oxygen tank. All of them were struggling. So what would we do if we keep cutting these trees and we simply say that, my high-rise building is important? That tree, without expecting anything from you, is simply offering. So in a way, my lungs is not just here. My lungs is actually connected to the tree. And the tree is in turn connected to the earth, connected to the air, connected to the water, connected to all the microbial organisms that are there. And all of them are sustained from the sun god. So if you really think about it, your life and my life is sustained by the offering from all these great beings. So this is purely from a very physical existence standpoint. When you and I think in terms of our, what we call as our psychological phenomena, oh, I know so much. For example, right now, all of us are sitting and contemplating using some language called English. And in between, we're using some Sanskrit. We're using some Kannada. Did you or I invent it? So this has been offered to us because of so many people. Simply in terms of language, but in terms of every other psychological aspect of your life and my life, whether your mathematical prowess, or whether your speaking skills, or your food manners, or whether your dressing manners, whatever you consider as the most cherishing thing in your life, in terms of how you have learned it, the knowledge, so many have offered. Many of them we may not even remember. When we were young, many teachers would have taught us so patiently, lovingly. And only because of that, today you and I are able to enjoy a certain psychologically, a certain improved way of life. So like that, when you look at what we call as your and my existence, it is purely because of all these offerings that you and I have received. But in return for that, what are we offering back? What am I offering back? Am I simply here to take everything and grab everything and to go away? Is that even a life worthy of talking? If I'm simply like a beggar, constantly, give me that, give me this, and constantly taking, what is the value of my life? How will I feel like? So the truth called yajna is the way by which you can realize your true potential, your divinity. It's only in giving that you receive in life. Imagine, we have a room and the doors and the windows and all of them are locked. And I am breathing that air. How long will it be nice and energetic? After some time, how will it be? Very stale, is it not? What I should do? Open the door, open the window, let the air circulate. So when I offer whatever little I know, whatever little I can do, when I offer through the pancha maha yajnas that already our Padma Amma and Shubhaji mentioned. And among these, when you look at it, the Rishi Yajna is the highest. Why? Because the other four require some kind of a material to offer. Whether it is Deva Yajna, where you have to take certain things for puja, or whether it is Pitru Yajna. So there is a certain time and space and the material that you need. And for example, Manusha Yajna, when you are helping some other human being, what way you are helping? Many a times, the help may come in terms, we may be thinking in terms of, okay, let me offer some books, let me offer some money. All these may require money. And money, like any other resource, is limited. How many people can you really help? How many students can you really offer scholarship? Maybe 1, 2, depending upon how much money you have, maybe 10 or 1,000, but there's a limit. Even if you're a multi-billionaire, there's a limit. Whereas Rishi Yajna, among all these yajnas, is the highest. It is highest because what is that you're offering? You're offering something called as a eternal truth of life. That is what a Rishi discovered. That is what great masters have discovered. That what we call as this life is actually a wonderful divine phenomena. And you are that. And that realization sets one free. And in that realization, one becomes like a pure flute of Krishna, where simply the air creates a wonderful music. And that is yajna. When I become a flute, then I'm not looking to hold something. I'm not looking to grab something. The flute is completely hollow. It is not saying, I will hold all this air inside and then I will make the music. It simply lets that air flow. And because of it is letting it flow, there's a wonderful music that creates. Like that, when I offer, and among the offering, when I offer the knowledge, and that is the highest form of the offering. So this yajna bhava, this samarpana bhava, this way of living life with an attitude of offering, all the moments, many a times the question is, what can I get out of this particular situation? Instead, what can I offer in a given situation? Is the yajna bhava. And the rishis have prescribed 5 yajnas that you and I have to do as a simple duty to remind us. But when you realize this essence that your life and my life is because of the gratitude of so many. A single grain of rice that you and I eat is because of so many have contributed to that. A single grain. If you think about it, how that single grain is made, how many organisms have sacrificed, that farmer has done so much, so many people have contributed. Your amma or somebody who's cooking for you has done something with love. So many. So in a way, at every moment, every situation of your life, every instance is because of offering from everyone else. Even this very satsang, this very satsang we are learning only because each one is willing to offer something. So like that, when I realize the yajna or the offering that is happening in life, that is the way divine is. That is the way divine is. And that is your very nature. Hari Om. Any questions or any other statements?
Hari Om Krishnaji. Krishnaji just joined. He may want to put his thoughts on Pancha Mahayagnas.
Hari Om Shamaji. Hari Om everyone.
Yeah, before that, Smitaji, is there any other question you have? Or has this brought enough of clarity?
Yes, yes.
All right. So Krishnaji, we are contemplating on the Pancha Mahayagnas. Don't know what all you heard. Is there something that you would like to share on the Pancha Mahayagnas?
Yeah, so I joined like when you were talking about Rishi Yajna, the way of the offering. Knew the Pancha Mahayagnas, Rishi Yajna, Pitru Yajnas, and so on. So I see like whatever, I personally interpreted and understood in a way as whatever we do in a life, and it should be a way of offering in the 5 ways. It can be through the jnana, and it can be through service, and it can be through offering to the other living creatures. So the intention of doing any action should be performed as yajnas. So the meaning, the selflessness, there should not be any intention to get back something on our action, whatever we do. And that's the way of other creatures are also, I mean, part of life. Like example, a simple example would be the plants and trees around us, and which provides the oxygen to us, and in turn it doesn't expect anything back. So as a human being, like even me personally, like before this getting a jnana of the Bhagavad Gita, so I also like always expecting something getting back. But when we do this, there is no stress, and there is no any kind of, there is no any expectation basically. So when we do in the way of offering or a selfless service in all the five forms, so, so I think that's the way we should live, and that is the ultimate truth, and where other creatures, let it be any other trees and like others, right? That's how they are. We also, as a human, we are occupied with our brain and the knowledge whatever we gather through, and forgot who we are, and performing a lot of karma actions, and which is leading to sorrows and expectation, worries. We started, and after realization, when we perform through as an yajna, so it's quite calm and composed and blissful. Yeah. So that's how I interpreted it, and that's how I am following it in my day-to-day life. Not 100%, but professionally, sometimes I do expect uh, also in some action, but there is a lot of difference before and after, which is nice actually. Yeah, that's the way of I use this in my life and interpret it.
Excellent, Krishnaji. Excellent. So this Yajna Bhava is a great secret, which as you do it, you'll know how it cleanses the mind, and how it brings about every moment, like how a small child is simply happy. If you ask a child, why are you happy? You look at a small child, 1 year, 2 year old, simply happy, not because of something, simply happy. So you will have that greatest thrill of life. And the greatest thrill is when the air flows, how the flute becomes a wonderful music. Like that, the flow of life will be magnified. Wonderful.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also one
Yeah.
more instance to share. So even like when we I was having in my mind, right? So by through the culture and everything, we have to offer, or even when we go to temple, we should offer some money or some food. Even there, I thought in recent times, I thought like, okay, there also we are expecting something. We'll get happiness. That's it. So that doing that also was before to this is like I expect some kind of okay, I'll go to God, or it is something like that before. So we do like giving some money to beggar, or something we buy and give, or something to another creatures like dogs and like around creatures in the streets, right? So so even though we were doing, but ignorantly, like I was doing something, like helping something, like small, not like. But after this, like yeah, even that it should not be in our mind, right? Like expecting something back. Yeah, that one thing I wanted to share. That's
Wonderful.
all it is.
Yeah. Thank you, Krishnaji.
Thank you.
Is there any other point on this question? Fifth one?
That's
Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. Then let us move on to the next question. What is Atmajnana? a very important question. What is Atmajnana? So shall we begin from Shubhaji?
Yeah, Atmajnana, as we all know, it is the jnana about yourself. Atma is nothing but the self. So, which is the ultimate way. At the end of the day, we all should realize who we are. So, as Ramana Maharshi says, who am I? That is the question we need to keep asking ourselves in every walk of life, every step of the way, every second. Once you start questioning, who am I? All things fall in place and you start realizing that you are the ultimate bliss, and it is just the wrong thinking which was because of conditioning that we have put in so many of the wrong things inside our head that we don't realize that we are Atma. So that jnana which we have to realize that we are the ultimate self, and we and that self is nothing but the bliss which we keep longing every day, every minute, and every second. So that is Atmajnana. And how I can get Atmajnana? It is only through a Sadguru. He can lead us to the right knowledge. And only he can help us what exactly is Atmajnana and how to get that Atmajnana. That's my short insights.
Thank you, Shubhaji. Krishnaji, would you like to share?
Yeah. So same, quite similar with what Subhaji told. So Atman is the true ourself. So most of the time, like yeah, most almost like before knowing this, like almost 90%, I believe, like all are ignorant. Like we are getting identified with the body and the emotion, the thoughts, and everything. So uh, actually, to get the Atma Jnana, so we have to go through a cycle. We have to, there is most of the time we have to go through some kind of unexpected situation. Then we question. Then it's directing to us a guru like Vijayji, and so through the guru we clearly able to understand who we are. So about our Atman, the soul, the consciousness. So then we are able to understand clearly and that real truth, which is unchangeable in any given situation. Yeah, that's how I see the Atma Jnana. Once after understanding the purpose of self, and then it's like a blissful life, I feel, through the practice, consistent practice. Yeah,
Thank you,
that's all.
Krishnaji. Thank you. Smitaji, your views?
Atmajnana is keeping us looking at oneself by keeping the self separate. Of looking at, we see ourselves as our body, what we wear, how our personality. When you reflect in the mirror and see the reflection, we are seeing the external self of us. If there was a way of seeing that, a similar mirror that is showing the true self, that and that realization is the Atmajnana, and it is only through um, practice and direction from a guru, from our seniors who have achieved that, is what we can see. Because then we detach ourselves from the body and mind, and see what the true self is, and realize that. That's how I see Atmajnana. And to that's the quest we are in. That is the journey we are in, trying to find out that who am I, who, and that process is what uh, hopefully we are all trying to go through and understand, and then apply that. Once we realize who the self is, and see that reflection clearly, and that with the purpose of why, who am I, my existence, and understand that, then your life is much more well-rounded or achievable what we want to do. That's how I see Atmajnana.
Wonderful. Thank you, Smitaji. Padma Amma?
ಹಾ ಸರ್, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳೇ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಆತ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆತ್ಮನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಆತ್ಮ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಆ ಒಂದು ಅಜ್ಞಾನ ಇದೆ, ಆತ್ಮ ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೆ. ಆ ಅಜ್ಞಾನ ಹೋಗಿ ಆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅಜ್ಞಾನ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಗ ನಿಜವಾದದ್ದು ಸತ್ಯ ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದರ ಅರಿವು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಒಂದು ಜರ್ನಿಯನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಈಗ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ನಾನು ಯಾರು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕಂಡು ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಇವಾಗ ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಕೈ, ನನ್ನ ಕಾಲು, ಕಣ್ಣು, ಮೂಗು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ನನ್ನ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಅಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿದೆ. ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನವು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ನಾನು. ಕೈಯೇನೆ ನಾನ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಾ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿಯೂ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಮನಸ್ಸು ಅದನ್ನ ಯಾತಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಅಂತಲೇ ಹೇಳುದು. ಅಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಸರಿಯಾದ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಒಂದು ಅಸ್ಪಷ್ಟತೆಯನ್ನು ಹೋಗಲಾಡಿಸಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನ ತುಂಬುವ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಾನು ಯಾರು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸದ್ಗುರುಗಳ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ಬೇಕು. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ನಾನು ಕಂಡುಹಿಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗ ಹುಡುಕ್ತೀನೋ ಅವಾಗ ಅರ್ಜುನ ಹೇಗೆ ನನ್ಗೇನು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ತಟ್ಟಂತ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಗುರುವಾಗಿ ಸಿಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟ. ಹಾಗೆ ನಾನು ನನ್ನನ್ನ ಕಂಡು ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅಂದಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಮಾರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಸದ್ಗುರುಗಳ ಪ್ರವೇಶ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಗ ಒಂದೊಂದಾಗಿ ನಾನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಈಗ ಅನೇಕ ವೇದ ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತುಗಳಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನ ತಿಳಿಸಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಹೀಗೆ ಅಂತ ವಿವರಣೆ ಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಬ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ದಾಗ್ಲೇ ಅದು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಕ್ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು. ಅಂತಹ ಗುರುಗಳಿಂದ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಮನದಟ್ಟಾಗೋದು. ಓ ಹೌದಾ, ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಮೂಲ ತತ್ವ ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಕಂಡು ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಈಗ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗಳು ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಅನೇಕ ಬಾರಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತಹ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗಳು. ಈಗ ಬಂಗಾರದ ಒಡವೆಗಳು, ಆ ಬಂಗಾರದ ಒಡವೆಗಳು ನಾನಾ ರೀತಿ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಮೂಲ ಏನು, ಬರೀ ಬಂಗಾರ. ಹಾಗೆ ಮಣ್ಣಿನ ಮಡಕೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊಂಬೆಗಳು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಮಡಕೆಗಳು ನಾನಾ ವಿಧವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವುಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಮೂಲ ಏನು, ಮಣ್ಣು. ಹೀಗೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಈ ಜಗತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು, ಈ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದು ಮೂಲ ವಸ್ತು ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ಆ ಮೂಲ ವಸ್ತು ಈ ಸದ್ಗುರುಗಳಿಂದ ತಿಳಿದು ಬರೋಂಥದ್ದು ನಿನ್ನ ಆತ್ಮನೇ. ಅದೇ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಕಾರಣವು, ಅದು ಒಂದೇ ಇರುವುದು, ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನುವ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನ ತಿಳಿಸಿಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಏನು ಅನ್ನುವುದು ತಿಳಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ಈ ದೇಹ, ಮನಸ್ಸು, ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ತಿಳಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ಜೀವಾತ್ಮ, ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಸ್ವರೂಪಿ ಅಂತ ತಿಳಿಯುತ್ತೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಜಗತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹದ್ದು ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಒಂದೇ, ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸರ್ವಶಕ್ತ, ಸರ್ವವ್ಯಾಪಿ, ದೇಶ ಕಾಲಾತೀತ, ಗುಣಾತೀತ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ಸ್ವರೂಪಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ ಒಂದು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನೆಮ್ಮದಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ಹೇಗೆ ಜೀವನ ನಡೆಸ್ಬೇಕು, ಹೌದಾ, ನಾನು ಹೀಗೆ ನಾನು ಏನು ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಅದು ಸ್ಥಿರವಾಗಬೇಕು. ಸ್ಥಿರವಾದಾಗ ನಾನು ಮುಕ್ತರೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಬಂಧನದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅನ್ನುವ ಒಂದು ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಜ್ಞಾನ ಬಂದಾಗ ಇದು ಹೋಗಿ ನಾನು ಮುಕ್ತನಾಗಬಹುದು. ಅದು ಆತ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದು. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
Wonderful, Amma. Thank you. So let's look at a couple of simple examples. So when I'm hungry, what removes my hunger? Food. If I know how to make food, that knowledge is what helps me to create the food and remove my hunger. Likewise, in life, when I don't know how to ride cycle, what removes that feeling of I don't know? When I ride, when I learn to ride. So any situation of life, when I feel something is missing, the right knowledge is the one which fulfills that feeling of lack. Likewise, in life, what is the most fundamental issue that any one of us goes through? We have so many situations of life. There is a feeling of fear, anxiety, tension. What will happen tomorrow? What if this happens? Oh, yesterday that happened. Was it good or not? Oh, I lost so much. Oh, what is that other person doing? Will I be safe? So like that, we get into various kinds of turmoil in life. What is the root cause of this turmoil? Like the hunger, now this is the turmoil. What removed the hunger? My knowledge, my ability to create food. Likewise, what can remove this turmoil in life is clarity about who you are and what is this world and what is your relationship to this so-called world. Because fundamentally, please see, within you, you may not have any problem. You may not have any problem with you within you. But when it is connected to someone else and how that interaction happens is where all the friction happens. What they said, how they said. Somebody may come and say, oh, you're looking very ugly. Now, that is what is making me feel sad. Or somebody may come and praise me. Oh, you're so intelligent. That is what is making me feel elated. Like that, in life, we become an instrument of somebody else's opinions, thoughts, feelings. And in a way, we start looking out for their acknowledgement. So life becomes a turmoil. Life becomes a constant friction. So what can remove this friction? I have to examine what is the source of this friction. From where am I feeling this sense of anger? From where am I feeling this sense of stress? From where am I feeling this anxiety about future? Why whatever the other person said is bothering me so much? What is the root cause of this? So just like how somebody invented a light bulb and we call him a scientist or an inventor of light bulb, our great rishis invented or discovered, rather, that would be more appropriate to say, discovered the root cause of all this suffering in human mind. And the root cause of this suffering is ignorance, ajnana. So the opposite of jnana is ajnana. What is ajnana? Ignorance. So ignorance about what? Ignorance about who I am truly. Ignorance about what this world truly. Ignorance about what is my relationship to this world. Because fundamentally, there is me and the world. Is it not? So it is the relationship between these two. So there is an ignorance. There is a lack of correct understanding, which is what causes all the friction. So how can that be removed? And the knowledge that removes that ignorance is called Atmajyoti. What is Atmajyoti? It is essentially realizing your true nature. We talk about Atman as if it is a third entity. No, it is who you are. Tat tvam asi. You are that. What? That eternal, unchanging, divine, pure being. Oh, but then I feel so much. I don't feel so peaceful. I'm so angry. I'm so upset. Correct. That is because of the lack of correct understanding. While you're conducting your day-to-day life, what do you apply in any given situation? The knowledge that you have. If somebody comes and says to a small baby, give me 1 rupee, the baby may not know what is 1 rupee. If let's say baby may not even know what is a rupee. So baby will simply not know what to do with it. And if let's say for whatever reason you've given the baby 500 rupee, and if some person comes and says, I'm going to take it, the baby may simply give it away. So like that, it is a lack of understanding that made the baby lose whatever it lost. In one way of looking. So like that, in life, when I am not clear about who I am truly, that is the source of all turmoil. And what is this world? How I should be in the world? All of this stems from who I am. So the fundamental knowledge of who I am helps me to resolve the next question, which is, what is this world? Then it helps me to resolve what is my relationship to this world. So Atmajnana is a pill to remove the ill called as I and the world. And when that ill is removed, then what is there? There is only wellness. So that is the significance of Atmajnana. And like all of you have said, like anything else in life, if you want to learn about making biryani, who do you go to? Someone you call as a biryani expert. If you want to learn cycling, somebody who knows cycling. Swimming, somebody who has been swimming. Like that, Atmajnana also has to be learned from a realized master who's competent enough to teach. So it is called as Brahmanishta. So one who is realized and who is also competent enough to teach. So like that, Atmajnana is going to remove the fundamental cause of suffering. Hari Om. Any questions, comments on what has been discussed so far? Okay. If not, can we take up the next question? Yoga Jnana. It's a 7:20. It may take maybe 10-15 minutes. Is it okay to take up? Are you all okay?
Yeah.
All right. Then let us take up the next question. What is Yoga Jnana? So we just now contemplated on Atma Jnana. What is Yoga Jnana? So shall we begin from you, Krishnaji?
Yes. One. Yeah. So the meaning of yoga itself is a union, and which means there is no separation in any form of creature as such, and we are that true self, the consciousness in many forms. Yoga jnana is how I am seeing it is like through contemplating and inquiring ourselves, and plus performing the meditation or through some kind of yoga, which enables to self-realize through the own experience as well as through questioning and reasoning ourselves to understand the oneself, that the Atman, who we are. Yeah, that's how I see the yoga jnana is.
Okay. Thank you, Krishnaji.
Thank you.
Shubhaji, would you like to share?
I see yoga jnana as nothing but the application of Atma jnana. So it is the vidya in physical, mental, and intellectual and verbal actions which we do is the yoga jnana. So Atma jnana is the knowledge, but how we apply that Atma jnana is what I see as yoga jnana in our day-to-day life. So when Brahma Vidya is clarity of intellect, yoga, jnana yoga is nothing but purity of heart. So that's what I was just trying to get the reference of Bhagavad Gita 3.3, which talks about this. 1 second, sir.
Do you want me to bring it up on the screen?
Yeah. Lokesmin dvivida nishtha. I think that talks about this. Am I right, sir?
Yeah. So that is about Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So this is what I was referring to. This talks about the path of knowledge and path of enlightenment. So
This one
this is what
specifically
I
talking
felt
about
as
Shubhaji,
Brahma Vidya and
the path of knowledge and the path of karma.
karma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And between the two,
Okay, the next question actually.
which
Yeah,
is
okay,
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I would say that Jnana Yoga is nothing but the application of Atma Jnana.
Yoga
And the study
Jnana
of
is application of Atma Jnana is what you're saying.
in short.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shubhaji. Smitaji, would you like to share your views?
I think what Shubhaji said is what I also understood it to be. Yoga Jnana is the action of or the applying the learning into our day-to-day life as a result of the realization that we have, and how then now that we have the who am I, or in the process of that realization what we need to do to live that life that we choose to, what we believe in as who am I, is what the yoga jnana is. And how do we then apply that on a daily basis? That understanding is what we are seeking as well.
Okay. So you also see it as an application of Atma Jnana.
Yes, the action, realization.
Okay.
The understanding of the action, of how we have to go about it.
Okay.
That's how I see it.
All right. Thank you, Smitaji. Padma Amma, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆ?
ಯೋಗ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ ಅವಾಗ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಅಂತ. ಎರಡು ಅಥವಾ ಎರಡಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ವಸ್ತುಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ವಿಷಯಗಳು ಸಂಯೋಗವಾಗೋದು ಯೋಗ. ಅದು ಸರಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು, ಜೀವಾತ್ಮನು ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಯುಜ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದುವುದು ಈ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಯೋಗ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಹೇಗೆ ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಇವಾಗ ಆತ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನ ಏನು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಚರ್ಚಿಸಿದ್ವಿ. ಆ ಆತ್ಮ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಏನು ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಶುಭಾಜಿ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಇಬ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡೋದು, ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಳವಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ತನ್ಮೂಲಕ ಹೇಗೆ ನಾನು ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಯುಜ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನ ಹೊಂದುವುದು ಅನ್ನುವುದನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದೇ ಯೋಗ. ಹೇಗೆ, ಯಾವುದ್ರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಾನು ಈ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಸ್ವರೂಪಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವುದು ಆತ್ಮನಲ್ಲದೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಜೀವನವನ್ನು ನಡೆಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದ್ರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಕರ್ಮಯೋಗದ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಯೋಗ, ಕ್ರಿಯಾಯೋಗ, ಜ್ಞಾನಯೋಗ ಇದೆಲ್ಲನೂ ಕರ್ಮಯೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಗುರುಜಿಗಳು ಹೇಳಿರೋದು. ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇದೀವೋ ಅಂಥದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಮಾಡುವಂತಹದ್ದಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅದೆಲ್ಲನೂ ಕರ್ಮಯೋಗವೇ. ನಾನು ಏನು ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಅಡುಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಮನೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಡಿಸೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾನು ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಅದನ್ನ ಯೋಗವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಇದರ ಫಲ ನನಗಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಕರ್ತೃತ್ವ ಭಾವವನ್ನ ನಾನೇನು ಹೊಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ಭೋಕ್ತನು ಅಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನುವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ನನಗೆ ಬಂದಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು, ನನ್ನ ಪಾಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿರುವಂತಹದ್ದು ಕೆಲಸ ಏನೋ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅರ್ಜುನನಿಗೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ನಿನಗೆ ಏನು ನಿನ್ನ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ಏನೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡು. ನೀನು ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಮೊದಲು ತಿಳ್ಕೊ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನೀನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಮಾಡು. ಆಗ ನಿನಗೆ ಯಾವ ದ್ವಂದ್ವವೂ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ನಿನಗೆ ಫಲದ ಕಡೆ ನಿನಗೆ ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಆಸೆಗಳಾಗ್ಲಿ ಏನೂ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ದುಃಖವೂ ಇರಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಪಾಲಿಗೆ ಏನು ಯಾವ ಕೆಲಸ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಿಷ್ಠೆಯಿಂದ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಾನಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ನನಗೆ ವಹಿಸಿರುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ನಾನು ಕರಾರುವಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅನ್ನುವುದಿದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಕ್ಲೇಶಗಳು ಇರಲ್ಲ. ತನ್ಮೂಲಕ ಮನಸ್ಸೆಲ್ಲ ತಿಳಿಯಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ತಿಳಿಯಾದಾಗ ಯಾವ ಮನಸ್ಸು ತಿಳಿಯಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನ ಒಂದು ಬೆಳಕು ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಕಾಶಿತವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆತ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಕಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆಯೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆತ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನದ ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆಯೂ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆಗ ಸಾಯುಜ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಯೋಗ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನನ್ನ ಅನಿಸಿಕೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ. Let us see the names of the chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So if you see, there are 18 chapters, and each of the chapter in Bhagavad Gita has a particular prefix and a suffix. If you look at the names, Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. So like that, if you see, all the 18 chapters have yoga. So there is also a understanding that we may have from our society or our culture. Yoga means typically what we do, yoga day. What is that? There is some contortion of the body, putting the body in different postures, and that is also called as yoga. So then what is this yoga? What is this yoga jnana that is Sri Krishna talking about in Bhagavad Gita? There's another reference I would like you to look at. At the end of every chapter, if you look at the end of every chapter of Bhagavad Gita ends as Om Tat Sat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Prathamo Adhyayaha. The second line is very important. Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. So we have several shastras. So we have, the architecture, the technology of architecture. How do we apply various kinds of understanding of the materials to create wonderful living spaces or puja spaces or community spaces? So the science of architecture. Or we have the science of Natya Shastra. So how to move the body in a harmonious way with a certain music, which is both pleasing and enlightening. Natya Shastra. Then Gana Shastra. So like that, we have so many Shastras. Shastras are what? Shastras, essentially, in a way, if you think about it, something that has applied some knowledge, basic knowledge, and has made our life nice. In other words, the difference that we see between science and technology. What is science? Pure knowledge. As an example, we all know if we throw an object up on the earth, it comes down, unless otherwise we throw it at a escape velocity. So like that, that knowledge can be used to create so many wonderful technologies. You can play catch. You can play certain games where you throw and somebody has to catch. You can play frisbee. So all of them are within the earth. Or you can also make a rocket which escapes from the earth, because you know the knowledge of these simple physical phenomena. Like that, Bhagavad Gita helps you and me to realize Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya means what is. It's like science. What is? The focus of science is not really application. Focus of science is what is this? What is this plant? What is this chlorophyll? What is sun? What is star? How is it coming together? What is happening? Why it is happening? So all this what, how, why. Whereas engineering or technology is all about applying it. Okay, now I know this phenomena. I know this great science equation E is equal to mc square. How can I apply? I can apply to create nuclear reactors to energize every home with electricity, or like how it has been done, apply to create a nuclear bomb to destroy. So that is application. So like that, Bhagavad Gita essentially is about both the aspects, the science and the technology. How is it a science? It teaches you fundamental aspects of life, about who I am, about what is this world, about what is the relationship between me and the world, about what is God, what is the relationship between me and the God and the world, what is karma, what is bhakti, about all of these fundamental aspects. What is fundamental? That which is enabling any phenomena. Like already Padma Amma gave one example. If I have to make various earthen parts, I need to know about property of mud and water, and when they mix, how it operates. So then only I can create various kinds of earthen parts, is it not? So the fundamental knowledge about the mud enables me to create various structures out of it. Like that, the fundamental knowledge about various aspects of life, or in other words, the truths of life. Because the fundamental aspects, why are they called fundamental? Because usually they don't change quite often. And in society, there are some fundamental aspects which change, but over a long period of time. But there are certain aspects of life which are so fundamental that they never change. what we can refer as universal truths. So Brahma Vidya means realizing the universal truths of this entire existence, starting from who I am, what is this world, what is God, my relationship to each one of them, what is karma, how to perform karma. Yoga Shastra, which is where then you bring it into action. So all this knowledge, all that knowledge you have about how to make a biryani is useless if you don't apply it to remove the hunger of either someone or your own body. Is it not? Like that, Yoga Shastra is living that reality, living that realization, bringing that out in action. When Krishna says that it is in giving that you grow, it is not a matter of simple philosophy. It is not it's a nice philosophy that, we can discuss over a cup of tea or discuss over a boardroom, or it is good for making a public speech. It is not that. It is a living reality. It is only in giving that you and I can really grow. So Yoga Shastra is really about bringing out this realization into action. Then I can see how this knowledge is not really simply a mental phenomena. Knowledge can be construed as mental phenomena. I know what is E is equal to mc square. Oh, I know, I've read it. I read it in my 12th grade. This is done by Einstein, and Einstein invented this. So like that, we blabber so many facts and figures. How are we able to blabber all that? Because somewhere we have read it and memorized it. So it can be called as memorization and recollection. That is not what it is. Universal truths are not memorization and recollection. Universal truths are living reality. So I have to live it. I have to bring it out in my very being, in my very action, in my day-to-day, moment-to-moment life. Then only the entire grandeur of what Bhagavad Gita is talking about opens up. Brahma Vidya. At a mental level, it is very easy to understand. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma means what? Everything is Brahman only. Everything is divine only. Oh, what a nice phenomena. What a nice philosophy. But my neighbor, how much she talks. Ayyo, I don't want to be with her. Where is Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma? So, what happened yesterday? 10 years back, how they insulted me. Let them come today. Where is Brahma Vidya? So, Brahma Vidya is, how does it apply to my life? And how do I make it a living reality? Because it is in that walking, in the path of the great masters that you also then will have your own realization. You may also then say something like that. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma is not a matter of philosophy. Someone who realized said, if somebody comes and asks you, what is the taste of mango? Taste of mango, you know what? You'll become so engrossed in describing it, no? How or why? Because you've eaten it. It is not a matter of philosophy. You don't have to worry. Will I remember taste of mango? Will I remember? If somebody comes and asks you, you will know it by heart. Because it's a feeling, it's a truth, it's a living reality, it's an experience. So like that, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma is not a matter of philosophy. It's not a matter of intellectual curiosity. It's a living reality. You and I fundamentally are one. You and the tree is fundamentally one. You and the air is one. You and that light is one. You and that water is one. There is really no separation. Each is part of you. You are part of everything. And that's a fantastic experience of life. It's like more than any mango, more than anything. So it is said that the feeling of the Brahman, the feeling of this is beyond words, indescribable. And that simply flows then. That is Yoga Shastra. And how do you realize that? Through Krishna and Arjuna Samvada. Who is Krishna? Someone who knows, someone who's realized, someone who can guide. Who's Arjuna? Someone who's seeking. So it is that dialogue. So fundamentally, entire Bhagavad Gita is about this Yoga Shastra. Only when you are in complete harmony with everything around you can you be truly liberated. Otherwise, as long as there is me and something else, there is going to be a conflict. The liberation for the river is only when it merges with the ocean and realizes it is nothing but water. Then only the river can be liberated. Till then, it keeps flowing. Hari Om. Any questions, or anybody wants to say anything or ask anything?
ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಸರ್. ಈ ಒಂದ್ 700 ಶ್ಲೋಕಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ಮತ್ತೆ ನನಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಅಮ್ಮ. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಈ ಅವಕಾಶ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. So it is like a room can be lit by one light. It will be so much. But if many lights come and they are in the room, how that would be? So this yoga can be experienced in life only through communion. And for communion, we have to come together. So thank you, Amma.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
All right. If there is no other question or statement, shall we end? Hari Om. I'll end the recording.